All right, we're gonna start the meeting of the Soundview Commission at 7:35. We have all the regular commission members here. Paul Ozell did call in or send me a message. He will not be here this evening. And I'm not sure, Jackie was gonna try. She just wasn't sure she could do it or not. So, first order of business is approval of minutes of October 26th. Michaela, don't believe I got the minutes, and I checked the town website and they're not there either.
Oh, I sent them a long time ago.
Did they, did anybody else get them? Did I miss them?
Huh. I will double check and make sure they go out, but if nobody's got them, I guess we can't vote on them.
Okay, so we'll have to table that. We'll have to table the minutes. And yeah, if you could get those out, try it again and give it another shot.
I'll send them right after the meeting because they're done. I'm actually using them as my template for tonight's meeting, so they're completely edited.
Great.
Okay.
Well, I didn't get them, so I don't think anybody else did for some reason, and I forgot to contact you earlier on that, so we'll just have to.
No worries. I'll send them later.
Okay,
So
sounds great.
Postpone that.
No gold star tonight.
Michelle, are we still recording?
Yes, you're recording.
I just want to make sure I pressed the button. I wasn't sure what happened. Okay. I never quite know at some of these meetings when I hit certain clicks, they go away, then come back and everything else. So we'll get right into the business if that's all right. Connectivity grant. We are proceeding quite well. We have the temporary access agreements almost all signed by the property owners on Hartford Avenue. Once again, the temporary access agreements or rights agreements will allow us to do work on the property of the particular homeowners to meld in the work we're doing on the sidewalks. In other words, the match the driveway pitches and things of that nature. So I think we have pretty much everybody on board with a couple of exceptions. With the temporary rights agreements, once again, it'll allow us to do the work on particular properties in order to get the proper grades and all with the driveways. If the temporary rights agreements are not sent to the town by the homeowners, the work done on a specific private property will not be included in the bid specifications, and the homeowner will be responsible for whatever work needs to be done. Does everybody understand what I'm saying there? Does that make sense? And I believe there's only one or two people that have not signed and returned the temporary rights agreements. A couple of them have had some reservations regarding it. I'm not quite sure what they are. It's a pretty straightforward document. Merely states what work we're doing on the town access and the town right of way, and what work we will be doing on their particular property in order to match the work we're doing on the town right of way. If a driveway pitch is at an extreme slope, for instance, we'll be able to go onto their property to soften that slope to meet the standard. I think the slope for driveway is 5%. For instance, if the new work that we're doing will create a 7 or 8% slope, and the property owner will not allow us to go on their property, they'll have to do their own renovations to achieve the proper slope for the driveway or sidewalk or whatever the case may be. We have one particular access agreement, which is, well, it's not an access agreement, it's an encroachment issue where there is a fence that is slightly over the town line, slightly on the town right of way. And that particular fence is a fence that cannot be obtained. The model is no longer made. So we're making arrangements with that particular property owner that will work around that fence to the best of our ability. But if it gets damaged, it's not our responsibility. And if at any point in time they do have to do any substantial work to that fence, they will have to move it onto their property, which is about a little less than 6 inches, I believe. So, and then there are some other encroachments, and the property owners have given us the approval to remove those encroachments. For instance, there's a sidewalk and a fence down in front of the old donut shop that is on town property, and the house right next to it. And that sidewalk and fence is significantly on the town property. So the homeowner's given us the okay to simply just remove that. We have a meeting tomorrow, 4 o'clock, connectivity grant meeting, which will review the bid specifications, temporary access, temporary rights agreements, and hopefully get the package ready to go out to bid in the next week or two. Once again, once the package is out, we expect anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks, I think, for review, and hope to award the project beginning of January. According to the specifications, they'll start sometime in March as soon as the weather breaks, and be substantially complete by Memorial Weekend. Other than that, we haven't found too many glitches. The only glitch that we did find, we originally thought the project was not going to be subject to prevailing wage. The Department of Labor came back to us and said it will be subject to prevailing wage. So therefore, the funds that we received are not going to go quite as far as we had anticipated or hoped. Prevailing wage could increase the cost of the project anywhere from 20 to 30%. So we're going to have roughly 20 to 30% less work done simply because of the prevailing wage issue. I don't think there's anything else. If there's any questions regarding the connectivity grant, I'd be more than happy to entertain them now. Okay. Mary Jo, are you still online? Did I capture everything?
You did a great job, Frank. Thank you.
Okay, very good. So if anybody would like to be part of that conversation tomorrow, our meeting is at 4 o'clock. The information is online, the town website. Just go to the meeting calendar and click on the connectivity grant. It'll bring you to a link for the WebEx or a phone number you can call in. Connecticut Water, substantially done. Pretty much everything is done with Connecticut Water. I think there's a few hookups that have to be done. There was a question at the last meeting, I think, regarding a section of sidewalk across the street from the community center that was concrete and was repaved with blacktop. I went and checked that out. Then somebody had mentioned to me that it should have been repaved with concrete. I went and checked that out. The actual section of sidewalk was not town property. It's on a private property portion of the sidewalk. So that would be, I would think, up to the homeowner to contact Connecticut Water to rectify that. I think all the connections have been made. There was a question regarding repaving of Portland Avenue, and the Connecticut Water Company had requested that rather than repaving it, they would give the town the equivalent amount of money. Made sense because we're going to be digging up Portland Avenue for the force main and the gravity main in the next year or two. And the patch job that Connecticut Water did was pretty adequate. So I believe the selectmen have chosen to take funds in lieu of repaving, and they're going to take those funds and escrow them for the sewer project.
Hey, Frank.
Other than that, yes.
It's Michaela. They have not done all the work on Portland. The houses down by Martino have not been done.
Oh, so they're still working on that? Okay.
I hope so.
Okay, I have been there for a week or so, so I haven't seen it. So I believe
Haven't done anything at the south end of Portland.
at the south end of Portland.
But those
Okay,
houses aren't.
all right. So I'll have to check on that. I'll check on that tomorrow. I wasn't
Okay.
aware of it.
Yeah.
I do know they're still working out there, so maybe they haven't gotten to that yet.
Maybe.
I haven't heard any problems regarding Connecticut Water or what they've been doing. The only problem that I've seen is that they dug up one of my bushes and killed it. So I'm trying to get that off.
And the
So
gate,
trying to-
but they,
And the gate, but the gate has been repaired.
yep.
The Swan Avenue extension is a mess. There's lots of holes.
They're still working on that, I believe, aren't they, Joanne?
I don't know.
All right, so I'll have to check on that. So Swan Avenue extension.
And Frank, in the pavilion parking lot, they dumped some crushed stone, not crushed stone, it's just a stone. They were using the pavilion parking lot as a parking, and they promised they were gonna remove it and fix the driveway a little bit. So just mention that to them if you could.
Fix. Okay. Got
And
that
they
there.
had permission, they just dumped it there.
They just. Well, Frank, then it looks like you own a whole bunch of stone that you really didn't want, right?
All right?
You could have put a fence around it.
Yeah.
I'll check on that. I'll make a call tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon sometime and put out a note regarding that to everybody.
Yeah,
Right.
besides the Swan Avenue extension, the one that goes right next to the police station, that road, there's a lot of like a big mud hole and stuff there at the corner of the alley.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the
All right. Okay, I've got that down. Is anybody aware of any other problems? Okay, if you in your drive tomorrow, the next day, if you're in the area, if you see something, shoot me a note and I'll add it to the list.
Okay.
I don't, is there anything else regarding Connecticut Water that we need to discuss? Okay. Sewers, I don't have any update on sewers other than the WPCA has established a design committee or as part of their design of the sewer system. I believe they had the first meeting last week. And I have not seen the minutes of that meeting yet. So we should take a look at the design committee portion of the WPCA to see if there's anything in there that could affect us positively or negatively, or that we may want to discuss or bring up to the WPCA. Other than that, I'm unaware of any other changes in the WPCA protocol or establishment of fund recovery. So if anybody has any new information, please bring it up now.
So this is Joanne. So the Mark Bold, his property up there on Hatchetts Hill Road,
Yeah.
there's something about that in an article I read about the number of gallons of sewage going off and whatever. Is that going to affect any of us?
That's a great question, Joanne. I don't know that from our standpoint how it will affect us. You know, our the cost recovery is established by what the WPCA says it's going to cost to put in our system. Now, whether we're going to pick up a piece of that or not, I don't know. I mean, once again, that's all up in the air in terms of potential lawsuits. As everyone's well aware, the Soundview homeowners, many of the Soundview property owners have formed an alliance to work to try to get the WPCA to work with us regarding a reasonable fund recovery, a cost recovery program. They have yet to acknowledge us as a viable group, and have yet to acknowledge the fact that our method of cost recovery is illegal in accordance with the state of Connecticut regulations. So we'll just see how that plays out over the course of time.
I know Prendergast.
Joanne, you're on mute.
How?
Okay, now you're back again.
Okay, I know Pendergast did actually get involved in the Mark Diebold thing. On Hatchet's Hill. So I don't understand a lot of it.
I haven't looked at the minutes of the last meeting yet.
It was an
Yeah.
article that's in that online newsletter.
Connecticut Examiner. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was an article on that.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with the WPCA, and I'm not quite sure how any of it affects us or how it's going to affect us in the future. I think there's a gallon issue regarding the Diebold property in terms of how many
Yeah.
gallons he wants to put into the system, and the system was not designed for that. So that I would imagine would be his issue to resolve, and not necessarily ours. Once again, we're still on the outside looking in. WPCA has not invited us to the table for any discussions, and we're just watching them. They are not responding to any of the individual requests, or not responding to any of the individual concerns that are being raised. And until they start to have it, until they have the desire to have a conversation, there's really not much we can do other than keep a close eye on it and be prepared.
Yep.
Well, that's it for sewers, I guess. Beach SUP letter. I unfortunately have not gotten that out yet. I will get that out in the next week or two. We have a little bit of time, but I do want to draft that thing very carefully. Once again, if you recall, there's a concern with the state department, DEP, reversed their longstanding prohibition on SUPs in swim line areas. Based on the Coast Guard not doing SUPs as a vessel. Our concern is that SUPs could be quite a danger in a swim area, and that we would like to see what the situation is regarding regulations that might be implemented by the town. Regarding a prohibition of SUPs in the swimline area. Mark Mangello, from the president of the Miami Beach Association, is also very concerned regarding this. And Miami Beach once again wants to work with us on that particular letter. So I do have a letter partially prepared going out to the town describing our situation. The fact that we have very congested swim areas with no monitoring, no lifeguards, SUPs in a confined area could create quite a hazard. And who's responsible, where there's liability lie, if somebody gets hurt, how do we handle it? And has the town the authority to prohibit SUPs from swim areas? So we're working with that with the Miami Beach Association, and I do have a letter going out to the selectmen, asking them to review the situation prior to next summer. I'll make a copy of that letter available to everybody as soon as it's finalized. Events 2021. Frank, did you get a hold of Barbara?
No, I called her 2 days ago and left her a voicemail, and I just this afternoon texted her, and she didn't respond either. So I'll try again. Maybe she's away.
Yeah.
No.
So until we can get a fixed date on the food truck festival, we'll still work on the concerts, Joanne, and come the first of the year, we'll have to see where we stand with this COVID restrictions and try to project where we're going to be during the summer.
Okay.
And you're going to work along with the people that have requested to assist with that, correct?
Yeah. Leanne and Tony.
Leanne and Tony, great. Oh, if anybody has any suggestions for Joanne, shoot them her way, and January we'll be able to pick up on that. Hopefully, have some guidance by that point. I keep talking about a vaccine, so maybe that will lighten things up for us a little bit.
Oh, I hope so.
Hopefully, next summer will be a lot different than this past summer. I have no new information regarding facilities of public works. If anybody else has any. Okay.
I have one thing, when Connecticut Water was working on Swan Avenue Extension, one of those signs that says no parking, blah, 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 they took it down, and it's laying on the side of the road in a grass area on Swan Avenue Extension.
Okay.
What is it? Yeah, I don't know if they want to replace it or if they're planning on putting it back in or whatever, but anyway.
Okay, just writing this down. Is that little back road that goes between Swan Avenue Extension and
Railroad?
Railroad? That's a town road, isn't it?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. And I've asked, what's his name, Ed,
Yeah.
to replace that sign. Also, it's total rust. It's all bent over and it's rusted. And that's also a no parking sign.
Okay.
So Joanne, where is this? Which street?
Swan Avenue Extension and the alley that goes by the tracks.
Right. So it has signs.
The alley that goes by the tracks is one sign, and the Swan Avenue Extension is another sign.
Okay, thanks.
I think that's actually that's on the GIS as North Lane.
Was that what
North
it's called?
Lane?
North Lane.
Wow.
According to the GIS map, it's North Lane. Yeah. And according to the GIS, it actually extends all the way over to Portland Avenue Extension.
Yep.
How long we can do about that? I have no new information regarding police or security. Harry, do you have anything regarding that?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right, we need to vote on the budget. Don't see Dave Kelsey here, but I did send out the budget request that we discussed last month. Once again, we had office supplies and printing remained the same as the current as $515, mailing $400, community services, events, that would be the concerts, The current year is $4,635. We're requesting for the next fiscal year $4,750. Porta potties cleaning, we kept that at $7,900. Miscellaneous signage, banners and maintenance. That included $1,150 for flags, signage, and banners as might be necessary. And then we did get a quote from Sprigs and Twigs, Sprigs and Twigs, I think it is, for $3,500 to do landscape maintenance, tree trimming, fertilizing, weed and mulch, and the bocce courts maintenance 3 times a year. So we added that in. That would bring maintenance and signage to $4,650, an increase over $1,150. We're also asking capital $6,500 a year for 3 years for the gazebo, and $15,000 for a land survey. We had that in for $20,000. We carried it over for so many years. The Board of Finance took it out, and now we have to re-request it. Considering that we do have a lot of surveying that's already been completed, we did reduce that down to $15,000. And Dave Kelsey thought that was a reasonable number based on his experience and knowledge. So we're going to reapply for that. And then we have a trash can replacement. We're just going to escrow $1,000 for trash can replacement every year or two. We do have $3,500 that we're hoping to do the trash can enclosures with. That's already in the current budget. And then we'll ask for $1,000, an additional $1,000 for additional trash cans as may be needed. So that's our entire budget. So everybody should have gotten a copy of that. Any questions regarding that?
No.
Then I need a motion to accept the budget request for the 2022 request fiscal year.
Motion.
Right, that was Joanne, I think.
Joanne, yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
I
Do
second
we have
it.
enough voting members, Frank?
Yeah, we need to add one more voting member because Dave Kelsey is not here. So Frank, you're an alternate, so you'd be a voting member for this.
Okay.
Actually, Frank can't be a voting member because he's got something on the agenda.
He could recuse himself at that point, I think. But for the purposes of the budget, he can be a voting member. I think.
Okay.
Am I correct? Yeah.
Yeah, he just can't vote on his own article if we end up taking a vote on that.
That's right. So I think Harry, Joanne made the motion and Harry seconded it. Are there any other further discussion regarding the budget request for next fiscal year? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Did I get everybody? Any opposed? Any abstained? Then that passes.
Woo-hoo.
Okay, we got something done here. All right, now a request from Frank Murata and Stephanie regarding an expanded service for civilian liquor service. I sent out everyone. I sent to everyone the letter from Stephanie, and so everybody should have that. So I'll turn it over to Stephanie or Frank to discuss this and pretty much describe what your thoughts are and what you'd like to do.
Want me to speak, Frank?
Yeah.
Okay.
Boss lady.
I summed it up pretty well in the letter. Just we want to keep keep what we had during the summer. So people can spread out if you just want to stay and, relax and have a drink, or if you want to go inside and listen to the band. So people have options. Like I said, COVID, people may not want to be smushed together, right away or for a few years. I don't think that the capacity is going to be out of control because the parking dictates how many people we can get. So I guess if you have questions on how we, or your thoughts about how you thought even this summer went.
Stephanie, it's Michaela. I'm curious as to how many chairs you have on the sand right now.
72.
During the summer.
72.
72.
Yes. Lounge chairs.
Yeah. And what's the deck?
I'm sorry?
And how many people are allowed on the deck?
The capacity for the entire pavilion, it isn't broken up into deck versus indoors.
Okay.
You mean prior to COVID or?
Yeah, because
Prior to
we're
COVID
probably not
our normal capacity is 550.
550.
Yes.
Okay.
That includes deck and interior, inside
Yeah.
and outside. Okay.
Yes.
How do you think the summer went, Stephanie?
I think this line of questioning is totally unfair. Okay,
How's that?
I never ever heard any of us talk about Kokomo's and the amount of chairs they have out and their capacity.
That's actually not true.
Oh,
That's
no.
not true. We limited Kokomo's to 20 chairs.
I don't care. Let me finish. I think at this time, all we need to do is decide whether that they can continue or not. Okay? I don't think this should, Frank, or anybody like this should be singled out. This is unfair. Never
No, Harry-
did we
Harry-
ever do this to Kokomo's.
Yes, as a
Harry,
matter of fact, we did, and we
I'm
had 3 meetings regarding that. And we agreed, that we would, support the request with a number of conditions. And we all agreed on those conditions. So, and we did have this discussion with the owners of Kokomo's. And I think it's just a discussion at this point in time. We're not asking for anything right now. We're just seeing how things are going, get the lay of the land. I think we all understand this has been an incredibly trying time for businesses and even more so for anybody in the entertainment industry, such as the Pavilion or Kokomo's or anybody else. The food service and entertainment industry have been hit incredibly hard this year. So I
And
think
all
that
you're going to do is try and make it harder. And I think this is getting carried away.
absolutely not, Harry. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Then things should be as they were.
Well, that's what we're trying to find out, though, because not all of us are aware of what the conditions are. That's why I asked Stephanie what their normal capacity is. And before you got all upset, I was about to ask her what the conditions were this year, because I did not, I did not think that they were serving alcohol to those lounge chairs this summer.
Yes, we were. That was our entire business actually, was on the beach. So our entire
Okay.
capacity this summer was 300 people. But because we were using the beach, we did do a little bit indoor dining, but nobody really wants to do the indoor dining. And we had 8 tables on the patio that was for seated dining only. So the beach was
Okay.
treated as a recreation space.
Okay.
So between fire
So
marshal and,
Stephanie-
yes,
So Stephanie, you had 8 tables on the patio, and you said you had 72 chairs on the sand,
yes.
and and you didn't have anybody on the deck, right?
There was the 8 tables on the deck if they were
8
dining,
Okay, 8 tables on the deck, right?
but with waitress service, yes. Yes.
With
And then we had the high top tables. We created those shaded areas.
Okay.
So there was high top tables there in the shade.
Yeah.
Okay, so how many tables did you have outside altogether,
Oh,
approximately?
Probably 25.
Okay. Okay, 25 total. All right, so we're looking at like 100 chairs outside, including the tables. right? Capacity for about 100 people. That's what you pretty much did last summer.
Yes, roughly, but people could bring their own. The fire marshal, you know, for COVID, he said we could have 300 people
On the beach.
Okay.
on the beach.
Okay, so get approval for 300 people on the beach.
For COVID conditions was 300 people
Okay.
each.
And you did that feel uncomfortable? Just out of curiosity, I didn't get a chance to spend a lot of time down there. Did that feel uncomfortable?
No, I think 300 on the beach was appropriate because people were allowed to be in their own groups and then be away from another group. So I think people were comfortable.
Well, just to refresh everybody's memory, we did have this discussion at length over several meetings regarding Kokomo's request, and we kind of came up with a list of things that we felt was reasonable request, and it was agreed to by Kokomo's, and pretty much the zoning commission stated that there was a reasonable request, and they may have I think they may have added one or two additional conditions to the Kokomo's request. Once again, here it is. It's a matter of being fair and making sure everybody's same ballpark, same ball field. Understanding that the pavilion business model is slightly different than the Kokomo's business model. I think we need to do what we can do to work with everybody to make it feasible. Does that sound like an approach?
Yes.
I'll read you what our conditions were, what the approval was, or the letter of support was for Kokomo's, just to bring everybody up to speed of what we already agreed to as a commission and submitted a letter of support for. We did discuss this over several meetings, and it was on August 26th. Actually, I might be able to share this if I can.
Oh, if it was in August, it was this August?
No.
August. Last August.
Before COVID.
Yeah, pre-COVID.
2018,
But that's not
2019.
It was BC.
PC, before COVID. Well, I can't figure out how to share anything, so let me start.
So the meetings are not the same, okay? You talked to Kokomo's before COVID. Frank's talking to you now after COVID. So
So
don't tell me they were the same.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, we don't know what you're talking about, Harry.
You just said a year ago in August, not this past August.
Right, and
Yeah.
we're looking towards returning to some degree of normalcy here in the future for the pavilion, and we're looking to hopefully put together a plan to support the pavilion for expanded service after the pandemic, after the restrictions of the pandemic, which would be similar to what it would be in August of 2019, which when we approved the Kokomo's thing. So this can everybody see this? Did I actually do this right?
No, you didn't.
Well,
It's just a blank.
But I know what it is, so.
It's
I
a
guess.
full screen with a little dot running around it.
I think Harry's point is you approved Kokomo's back in August when there was no COVID. Now
Right.
COVID came out and it's a totally different ballgame because this thing is going to be with us for years, and
Well, they're
I don't
talking
think-
about
I don't
reopening.
think we have the right to tell Frank how to run his business in COVID. That's between him, the health department, and everybody else, and not us. So I think, we're getting too involved in people's business.
Are you the newest investor, Harry? You sound very passionate.
Oh, Michaela, I'm in business. You have no idea the obstacles I've had to go through this year.
Oh,
It's
you'd
been
be surprised.
Huh?
You'd be surprised.
Well, yeah, I just think that people that are in business have enough of a hard time trying to go about adjusting their businesses to what's going on, and all we're doing now is making it even harder. I don't think we
haven't
have
even
that.
had a discussion yet. We're just trying to find out the facts, what we're dealing with, right?
I don't
even
think
discuss
it's business.
streaming.
I don't think it's your business or anybody else's.
Excuse
Well, then
me,
why are we even discussing it if it's not our business?
excuse me.
That's why I'm. What,
Excuse me,
It's
Harry,
the agenda.
okay,
Only it's our business, right?
Oh,
Harry,
it's not our business to tell Frank
Harry.
how to run it.
Harry,
Yes.
I'm in business too, okay? And I'm the last person to look for more regulations. I don't believe that the government should be sticking their nose half the places they're sticking it right now, okay?
So why are we bothering Frank?
We are, this part of our charge, the Soundview Commission charge, is for the development and maintenance and operation of the Soundview area. And that includes working with the businesses to try to get something functional for everybody. We're not telling Frank how to run his business.
Doesn't
We are not,
include getting your nose in the operation of their business.
we are not getting involved in the operation of the business. Frank is requesting a letter of support.
Questioning
Okay.
how many chairs he's got, how many people he's got. You want to know that information? Go to the other channels. We have no
Harry.
right to stick our noses in his business.
Harry, you have to have the facts in order to present this letter to the town in support. For Christ's sake.
All we want to do, Harry, is put together hopefully, put together an agreement that we could all agree on to support Frank when he goes to, Frank and Stephanie, when they go to the zoning commission for expanded liquor service, which is exactly what we did for Kokomo's. They said, can you give us a letter of support? Now, can the pavilion go to the zoning commission without a letter of support? Most definitely. They don't need our blessing to go to the zoning commission for expanded service. They can do
Give him a letter
that.
of
Okay.
support. Why are we wasting our time trying to get involved in his business?
Because when we had the discussion regarding Kokomo's, and we had this over a number of our meetings, we discussed what we thought would work out best and be a reasonable compromise for everybody regarding the management of the Soundview area, which is part of our charge, which is
Are
part
we
of
going
our.
to give him the letter of support or not?
Well, I think we want to discuss what do we include in this letter of support? We issued a letter of support to Kokomo's. We set a precedent. We set the precedent.
And,
We
and
set the
you know what?
precedent.
I also want to say that Kokomo's came in with an elaborate plan that they had drawn out, and they had stipulations about how they were going to control traffic and how they were going to control service and all this other stuff. This is the first time. They came in 3 separate times before we issued that letter of support. This is the first time that we're hearing about this. I'm really willing to entertain it, but not if somebody's going to be screaming at me who isn't even the person that wants the letter.
Correct.
Well, I think it's unfair.
Look, Harry, as the chairman of this commission, I very much want to work with the businesses. I very much want to put together a package that it will support the businesses in Soundview. I really think that that's important. We need to support them to the best of our ability. Okay, we did that with Kokomo. We did that with Kokomo's, and I think we can certainly put together something that we can issue a very, very substantial letter of support to Pavilion so that they will have an easier time going to the zoning commission.
So
And
you
there's
plan on doing that?
there are new people on the zoning commission. They don't know any of the background information. The more we can show, a openness and a support, whatever for the business, the easier and better it will be for Frank and Stephanie.
So you're going to support. We're
Frank
going to
Pappalardo.
support them? Is that a yes or a no answer?
We're discussing it.
Frank,
you-
what were the conditions on Kokomo's? You have them in front of you?
Yeah, I do. I think I think that personally, I would like to see very much to put together a really good letter of support for you. I really would. I think it's important. I think it's important to business, and I think it's important to the community. I think it's a very positive thing. It worked out fairly well this past summer. Okay, there are other conditions. There were other variables that were out of your control and everybody else's control. So we just need to put together this letter of support so that we can all feel comfortable moving forward outside of the pandemic situation. So what we had discussed and agreed and included in the letter of support was beverage service only, private beach area to be well-defined with an aesthetically pleasing fence or other such barrier approved by the Soundview Commission, proper control and security provided by Kokomo's, entrances and exits well monitored by Kokomo's, patrons are 21 years or older unless accompanied with a parent or guardian, hours of expanded beach service limited to kitchen full service hours, full menu, no amplified music on beach, adjacent patio or restaurant, capacity limited, and Kokomo's had a 20 table chair capacity. That was modified to as approved by the appropriate regulatory agency. And then in addition to the conditions set forth by the Soundview Commission, final approval is subject to state liquor control requirements, Town of Old Fire Marshal, zoning, public safety, and Board of Selectmen requirements and approval, local health district approval, and other state and town approvals as may be necessary. It's pretty broad and pretty open letter of approval. Okay. It allowed pretty much for them to do everything. There are only a couple of areas because the business model changed, a difference that I think we should discuss a little bit. And I'm willing to work. I'm willing to do whatever I can do on my end, and hopefully the rest of the commissioners are. I think Frank, we could all agree. Frank, Stephanie, we'd all agree on a well-defined area. Can we agree on that?
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
Definitely.
Okay, so we're fine on that. And proper control. That's obviously we have to do that. How do you monitor the entrances and exits? I mean, do you have people there, or how do you do that?
Yes,
How did you do it this year?
We have lots of lime green shirts everywhere. So the resident trooper had us, post also at the high tide line with signage, and that way you could see where the people were coming in. If they, because some people come down Hartford Ave, walk the high tide line, and then come up from the bottom. Not everybody comes, through Swan Avenue. So we'd have staff posted down on those openings, which made it easier to manage instead of having this big wide open beachfront. So
Right.
we had only 3 entrances in the bottom. That way people could also go to, to the ocean.
The water, yeah, they do that again.
Right.
Okay. Patrons 21 years or older unless accompanied by parent or guardian. How do you handle that? I mean, that might be a little bit more difficult, I think, in your particular business model.
Everybody had to be carded and that you would get a wristband. So if you didn't have the wristband, then we knew that you didn't belong on the property, or that we needed to make sure that you did get carded. And same thing when they got to the bar, if they didn't have the wristband, then the bartender couldn't serve them.
So in order to get onto the beach in front of the pavilion, you're gonna
You have to
Receive a
check
wristband.
in and receive a wristband.
so there's nobody under
that
the
makes
age of
that
20.
Only, right?
I'm
I
sorry.
think that's what you 21 and over only, right?
Yes, this summer we were it was 21 and over.
Okay.
So we're also so we're pretty much in sync.
Mhm.
And do you all agree with that? Okay. Hours for expanded. Now, the Kokomo's model is different than the Pavilion model, so this is where we're going to have to do some finessing here to figure out what's going to work for everybody. Hours of expanded beach service limited to kitchen service, full menu. So how do we handle that, Stephanie, Frank? I mean,
our regular business hours, you know, except for maybe a 4th of July or Labor Day, you know, the holiday periods, Sunday through Saturday is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then Friday and Saturday are the only 2 nights that we stay open until 2. But I don't think we want to be serving out on the beach into the dark. We'd like to keep the business up to the bar when it's dark.
Yeah.
So you would be open to like sunset or 9 o'clock or something like
Right.
that
Yeah.
on the sand? Yeah. Okay. I think we told Kokomo's like 9 o'clock because that's when their kitchen closed. It was either 9 or 10.
I think it's whatever
I
their
think it
kitchen
was
hours are.
9 o'clock, I think was their shut off time for beach service.
Mhm.
Right.
If their kitchen closed at 7, then you know, obviously it was tied to their kitchen service, but we could use a time service here, which might make more sense.
Yes.
Okay. The amplified music on the beach, Jason, in your business model, you know, uses amplified music. So
That's the whole big deal. Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to change that. That is what it is. So.
yeah, the only thing that I've got a question on this for you. This year you turn the speakers and everything towards the beach.
Right, because that's where the capacity was. I only had 8 tables on the deck and it had to be seated dining.
Mm-hmm.
So all the majority of people were on the beach because that's where they had to be in order to stay. So we just had like scaled down, stripped down versions of bands we normally have.
Yeah, we don't.
But I don't want to keep that. I don't. If we go back to normal, I want the music to face back into the pavilion. It was.
Oh, it'd be one. It would be one or the other. Wouldn't be both.
Right. Right. If we go back to normal times, the music will go back facing in.
I've got a question for you. I know one year you put up some sound deadening material on the face of the pavilion where the band's faced, and I noticed it was gone.
Well, that was like a facade. Now the roof line goes like this. Before there was like a fake wall that went up. And so since then the stage is lowered and more centered to the building. So it goes into the pavilion. Before the music was kind of going over.
Oh yeah, I heard it on my front porch many a day.
Yes, the stage is a lot lower now.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That explains that.
Yeah. Yeah, it did make a difference.
Capacity wise, you got 550 in the building, another 300 on the beach.
Well, it's not really another 300 because most of those people came to be customers anyway. So,
Okay.
you know, it's not gonna make 850 people.
That's
You know, those people that come to the Pavilion Beach, they're already the customers. They already like laying on the beach and they would come inside, then they go back to the beach. It's, you know, they already intended to be Pavilion customers.
And with COVID, it thins it out a little bit inside.
Yeah.
Well, the fire marshal said 300 on the beach. So do you anticipate putting any more than 300 on the beach?
I mean, maybe, you know, some things you can't help, like 4th of July or, you know, like I said, the parking dictates how many customers we're going to get that day.
Yeah.
So.
I do want to mention this though, that when I'm thinking of this, I'm thinking of the property directly in front of the pavilion. It was to the pavilion. It doesn't include the volleyball area because that is not contiguous to the pavilion.
Right.
Because there's a town right away that goes down between that property and this. So I think when we're discussing this, we're talking, at least I'm talking, and I'm describing strictly the property in front of the pavilion that's part of the pavilion property proper.
Hmm.
I think when we go to zoning, I think they'll dictate that because, as you know, the pavilion's in a residential zone and the volleyball courts in a commercial zone. So, we want to put them together both in commercial zones eventually. And I don't really see how it matters if, like we put tables on the volleyball court this year and it really worked out well with that netting on top of it. So.
Yeah, I don't know, Frank, whether, to be honest with you, because there's a 10 right away that separates the two properties, whether the liquor commission, and I would want to discuss this, think we would want to discuss it and make sure we have an agreement on this. And maybe you could find that out, so that we can include it or not include it in there.
Right.
Because that would be part of the aesthetically pleasing fencing, the borders, the area or not. You understand? You understand what I'm getting at here? I'm not sure because it's not a part of the actual property proper, whether the liquor commission will give you the approval, to do that, because that would be considered off-site, or whether the zoning commission would give you approval to do that. I bring that up now because I figured I'd want to bring it up. I'd rather bring it up now rather than have you go in front of the zoning commission and find out that there's a problem. So I think that would be something that might want to be worked out in advance.
Well,
Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, Stephanie, you're the permittee, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So do you have any insight as to whether that is allowable or not allowable?
well,
I mean, this summer was allowed, but in what that general rule is, I don't know. I think we prefer, just for traffic, you want to have an in and an out the way people go. And that's how it was this summer. We went in one side of the deck and out the other side of the deck. So that way we had a steady one-way flow of traffic. So that, taking that volleyball court away would make, would cause congestion. So
Right.
yeah, I guess we'd have to look into what zoning calls that, or, if it's okay to pass across it to get from one parcel to another. Not sure.
Is this something that, I would recommend that before you go to zoning that you have something actually drawn out so that people can see the property, especially people like, I'm actually having a little trouble picturing exactly where everything was this summer, even though I went by there a bunch of times. But I think that, something like the zoning commission, they have no idea, like probably many of them have never even been down to the beach. So I think it would be really helpful if you guys would just think about exactly like what you want and where you want it. And then we could all kind of see what the actual, like what you're asking for. I think that Service on the Sound is really nice. I love the palm trees. I love the whole thing. I'm just concerned about increasing capacity once we're done with COVID, where we end up with like 500 people on the beach and it's uncontrollable. And I know that you have a lot of great strategies in place. I would just kind of like to picture it in my mind to see exactly what you're asking for, like how many tables where, how many chairs where, that sort of thing.
Maybe it doesn't have to be exact, but I think Michaela's got a good point, because I think that it's at some point you're going to have to prepare this for the zoning commission for their approval. So it might want to just kind of get it out of the way now, and that way when you go to zoning, hopefully with our letter of support with everything, it's pretty much a clean sweep for you.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
so I think
I want to
we're
get back to that. I want to get back to the different parcel.
okay.
That's in our ownership, and yet no matter where you were in every city, the they were blocking the streets off so people can serve in the streets as well and have their tables there. So I think owning our own piece shouldn't be. I know they're separate pieces, but they could work together.
The only problem,
Right,
Frank,
but
with
that was a COVID restriction. I mean, they're not going to be serving in the streets forever. So we do need to consider it.
and the other concern I think that we need to at least bring up now so it doesn't cause a problem in the future is that in order to get from one piece to another piece, it's town property. It's a 10-foot swath that goes straight down through town property. So I think that could create a problem with the town. And I think so what we need to do is figure out how to overcome that or how to work with that in order to make it functional.
We'll give them jetpacks.
A flyover bridge. There you are. There we are. Now we got to get air rights involved here too. So, I think we're well on our way to getting something put together here to give you some strong support with zoning. I think Michaela brings up a good point. Let's figure out how to resolve the what it looks like, the plot plan and the idea, the thought process and everything. And then it's Stephanie or Frank, if you can check. I think the first place to check would be the Liquor Commission, because I think that might be a Liquor Commission issue and not necessarily a zoning commission. So start by saying whether it's allowed by the Liquor Commission to transverse, unowned town property to get from one parcel to another parcel, and as part of the liquor permit. And then we can pick this up again in January. You're not going to be running in front of the zoning commission before February or March, right, Frank?
No, I don't think so.
We can meet in January.
Get the support letter in that January meeting.
Yeah.
So we might have to, this way it doesn't run into February and March.
Yeah.
Because we might have to go to ZBA too.
Why would you think there, Frank?
Just
It's a non. Yeah.
I'm conforming, and I'm using the lawyer Mike Cronin out of Saybrook. He did a pretty good job for me over on those 156. So.
Well, that's all the more important for us to make sure that we've got our letter support very well established with all the bits and pieces of it thought through, so that nobody can poke any holes through it, and can really believe that we're working with everybody to make this thing happen.
Yeah.
Right.
I'd love to have the details worked out, sort of in-house before the rest of the town gets to weigh in on it. We kind of know what the issues are. And I think that, if we can kind of work it out so that we're satisfied, I think you'll probably sail through zoning. So, it's just a matter of just ironing it all out and just coming to a conclusion where we can point to it on the paper and say, well, this is how many people we're going to have, this is where we're going to put them, this is how we're going to contain them, and, all of the details.
I think that we're pretty much there. We just have to get a few of the details worked out here so that we can establish it and say it sounds good to us.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, thank you.
All right. Any other comments, Joanne, Harry? Okay. All right. So Frank, Stephanie, let's work on this thing over the next month or two.
Okay.
When it's drafts over, we can send them out to the commission and at least take a look at them. And if we have questions, we can kind of get back to the questions before the next meeting. And that way we might be able to resolve some of these things before the next meeting and take it from there.
Got it.
Okay, super. That's good. That's good. Is there any other final comments regarding this? Okay,
No.
thank you. 2021 commission dates. Previous years, we've always had it the fourth Monday of the month. No meeting in December. and the Tuesday after Memorial Day. Is that acceptable to everybody?
Yep.
Yep.
Good on that? Okay. Any other business from the commissioner?
No.
I'll open it up for public comment now. Any public comment? Going once, going twice, no public comment. All right, no public comment. Well, thank you very much. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Angelo, do you have a comment there? I see your light lit up here. No.
Me? No,
Oh yeah, you're blinking there on my screen. So apparently not.
no,
All right.
I didn't have any questions.
Okay.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Joanne? Second? Second, Harry? Frank?
Michaela?
Michaela?
Sure.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving. We'll see everybody in January. Unless something comes up in the meantime, in which case we may have to call a special meeting, but I doubt it. So I'll keep you posted on the public works issues and we'll take it from there.
Frank, I just have one for the minutes.
Yes.
So Paul Orzel and David Kelsey were both absent.
Paul Orzel notified me that he would be absent. I haven't heard from David, though.
Okay, but he wasn't here.
He wasn't here. No, he wasn't.
Okay, and of the public comment, was it just Angelo or was there anyone else here?
No public comment.
No, but I mean the Soundview residents that were present.
The
I
guest,
just,
Paula
Oh,
Malillo.
okay,
But
so
I don't
Angelo
know.
and,
And Dennis,
Dennis was there. There's a few others that didn't identify themselves, so that's okay.
okay.
user
But the ones
number
that
7.
said who they were Paula, Angelo, and Dennis.
That's correct.
That's all I saw.
Okay. Cool, thank you.
All right, thanks, everybody. Have a great holiday and talk to you soon. Stephanie, be in touch, okay?
Thank you. You got it. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Say no. I know.
Bye-bye.
Leave meeting. Leave meeting.